Let's talk about what's happening over the next couple of days. This big area of high pressure over the Pacific, that's a heat dome, which we often see in early fall around here. It's going to be building in over the next couple of days. But as it approaches, it's squeezing the atmosphere over the Bay Area tonight, and that's why we're going to have those gusty offshore winds in the North Bay Mountains, prompting that red flag warning that goes into effect at 11 o'clock and continues through 11 a.m. Thursday for elevations above 1,000 feet. I mentioned during our last half hour and during our 3 o'clock newscast this afternoon, this is kind of a borderline red flag warning in terms of how the lowest humidity levels and the strongest winds aren't going to overlap time-wise. And our forecast data is saying the same thing. Our fire danger index forecast, which just ranks the fire threat on a scale of 0 to 10, incorporating the wind speed, the humidity levels, the temperatures, the dryness of the fire fuels. But it's far from the top of the scale. In fact, it's only topping out at about a 3 here at 11 o'clock this evening when that red flag warning goes into effect. Well, 1 o'clock forward, stop about halfway through the red flag warning at 5 a.m. and we see a few numbers creeping up to around 4, but it's not even halfway up the scale. A few spots indicated in yellow, areas of concern where it might get onto the upper half of the scale, but that's not going to be the time frame where we're going to be seeing the lowest humidity levels. That's going to happen during the day once the winds have died down. So we're optimistic we'll be able to get through this with hopefully minimal consequences, but it's something we'll keep an eye on through the rest of tonight. If we don't see any new fire starting, we're still going to have to watch some of that smoke. We tracked that during the last half hour as well. But I think the moderate category is where we're going to end up in terms of our surface level air quality by the second half of the weekend. For the entire Bay Area, there's going to be more smoke elevated in the atmosphere that blows in from the southern Sierra. But hopefully we can keep that off ground level where we don't have to breathe it. Right now, it's nice outside. It's nice in San Jose, where the temperature was 79 degrees this afternoon. Got up into the low 80s for San Rafael and Concord. Fremont topped out in the low 70s, just short of 70 degrees today in San Francisco, with low 60s along the coast in Pacifica. All these numbers are going to be warmer for tomorrow's temperatures. Right now, we're in the 60s and 70s around the Bay, 70s and 80s farther inland, but this is pretty typical territory, if not slightly below average for late September. Tomorrow's temperatures will start off near normal, in the low to mid 50s pretty much across the board, but we're going to warm up as that heat dome builds in overhead. It's going to be more of a modest warm up around the Bay, but temperatures in San Francisco will be a couple degrees above normal, reaching up into the low 70s by early afternoon. A more noticeable warm up for the North Bay. Santa Rosa reaching up into the upper half of the 80s. And tomorrow's high temperatures are going to stay pretty consistent for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Just a little bit of a wiggle that you see here and there in the 7-day forecast. Concord reaches all the way up to 90 degrees by tomorrow afternoon, which is hot for the last day of September, but it's nowhere close to record setting. We're still at the time of year when we can easily reach triple digits. At least we're not going to do that. Mid-80s for high temperatures in San Jose. Let's fill in the rest of the map. Temperatures in the mid to upper 60s along the coast. Mostly 70s around the Bay with 80s and some low 90s farther inland. And those numbers just don't change much through the first weekend of September. Excuse me, the first weekend of October. Feeling more like first weekend in September. Our temperatures will back off by Tuesday and Wednesday. Really noticeable for places farther away from the water. From 84 in San Jose on Monday to 74 for a high temperature on Wednesday. A similar drop for inland parts of the East Bay and the North Bay, with temperatures along the coast in the mid-60s through the weekend, and then cooling off as the fog makes its return into the first full week of October.